Alright, hello everybody, Merry Christmas for the, later on this month. This is of course Nick Dutch back again, or, Nick Dewey, whatever you want to call me. My stage name is Nick Dutch, my birth name is Nick Dewey. I'm telling you today about Candida because one of my regular viewers is curious because they've also got Candida and they're curious about what I did in order to fight it. So I'm just going to tell you because it's good to do a different variety of video. Candida is a very unpleasant condition to have because it drains you mentally and physically. People on the outside world think you're okay because you look okay, but they don't know there's things going on inside you which is negative. And it's a ghastly condition to have. For those of you who don't know, Candida is an overgrowth of a naturally occurring yeast, which is in everybody, absolutely everybody. Okay, we all have it. We all got bacteria and spores and molds and fungus and yeast and everything inside us all the time. But if you got Candida, the stuff is spread out of the digestive system and it's gone into your circulation, your internal organs, it's gone into your brain, it's all over the place. So what my doctor did was to put me on a number of different courses of various antifungals. So obviously go to your doctor and ask your doctor for things like, nystatin, not nystan, but nystatin. Nystan is very weak, it'll only give the yeast a quick knock on the head and won't actually do any good whatsoever. But nystatin is the more powerful one, and yeah, it's bloody disgusting, but you got to do what your doctor says and take it. And I was also given, I can't remember what it's called, Sporanox. That's the one, which is one which goes to all the various places on the skin and in the lungs where all the other extra spores of the yeast could go, but that was for a different treatment that I was on. And I don't know how these two medicines work together, so obviously get medical advice, don't listen to me on this. Now, when I wasn't taking these regular things, I was told to look at capric acid, which is I think it's an extract of coconut. Now that's something you can get from health food shops, and it comes in capsule form, and what you can do with it is you just you take it, you follow the instructions. That will help to control yeast in your body. These days I'm taking diatomaceous earth food grade, which you can buy. It's relatively cheap, get it on Amazon, get it on eBay. Make sure it's food grade and is designed, or it's the right type for internal ingestion, because if it says on the container that it's like 100% codex, which means food grade, but it's like being marketed as a bug killer, it might still, by my experience, have something in it which could be bad for you. So if you want to use diatomaceous earth as something to assist with the whole thing, then you may. But you'll need to do more research into videos, interpretations as to how much you can take. I'm not a doctor, don't listen to me, I'm not prescribing for you, I'm just telling you what I've done and what I'm doing. Another thing people use for Candida is extra virgin coconut oil, which can actually be used in your cooking. Just like take a lump of it and shove it on in your soup once it's cooked, so it can melt and you can consume it with the soup. You don't want to cook it to denature it. You want to put it in its whole raw form to melt on your, whatever it is. If you got Candida, your body is not able to, or is less likely to be able to absorb your vitamins, your minerals, and all the rest of that kind of jazz, so be aware of that. You will need supplementation just to be able to function and to help the body to function, to heal. If you can do anything else for full detoxification, that might be a good idea as well. Regular doctors don't talk about detoxification, but many of them don't believe in Candida or chronic fatigue syndrome either, so essentially in some respects I think that the regular standard medical profession needs to have needs to recognize that they're disbelieving in some things which are hard and fast objective fact as personal experience dictates. Sorry, that's me getting into rant mode, but please ignore me, okay? Right. As far as foods to keep off, now this is where it gets difficult, because your body still needs some quantities of energy just to keep itself going, and you need to have you need to do good calculations as to how much energy you need. If you want to be that fastidious, you don't have to be, but if you want to be that fastidious, you can be. Go for the low glycemic index. So try and keep off white rice. Try and go for a proper whole grain rice if you're going to have rice. So not just brown rice, because brown rice is often white rice, which has got stuff added to it to make it look brown, which means it's still a very high glycemic index. The food industry is a real bunch of wankers in that respect. You got to seriously check what you're eating. If you want to have potatoes, go for sweet potatoes if you can. Okay, your leafy greens are going to be very important because they're, and I don't mean iceberg lettuce. There's sod all goodness in iceberg lettuce. You know, it's just pretty and crunchy. Okay, it's mainly water. It's just shit. So go for proper, deep, dark, proper leafy greens to get some extra food nutrition, because that's going to be important for your body healing anyway. And it's just very good for you no matter what, to make sure you're having all the phytonutrients and the rest of that. If you got Candida but you're craving something sweet, then do use artificial sweeteners. I know there's tons of paranoia about aspartame and about all the rest of that, but you will be craving sweetness because your body is telling you to have sweetness because you've got Candida. Whenever you get any form of infection or infestation, the things inside you know what they want to eat, and they will make you crave it. Okay, the yeast, the fungus, the protozoas, the bacteria, the molds. That's the way it is. And fighting food addictions is very hard. I'm struggling with a few of them at the moment myself, and in some ways I'm winning, in some ways I'm losing. But you got to carry on fighting and recognize that. Sugar is difficult. You got to do a lot of label reading, avoid everything with OSE at the end of it. So that's lactose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, or anything else with OSE at the end of it, as far as is possible. Literally as far as is possible. And you just got to carry on keeping up the fight. And you can do as best you can with a combination of your own self-treatment, namely through diet and nutrition, and looking at things such as caprylic acid. But this is not a problem that will go away just by itself overnight. We're in a mindset in the Western world that there is a pill which will do it, alright, for everything. Or you just go to the doctor, he'll know precisely what's wrong with you, and then he'll be able to do it straight away. This is an inaccurate mindset about health. What we have to do is to try and move as far as we can towards a good quality, healthy, balanced way of living, in order to try and make sure our bodies are self-healing as far as is possible. So yes, if you can get exercise in, then do so. Right, if you're lacking in magnesium, and one of the reasons you might be too tired to do exercise is because you're lacking in magnesium. There's a product I'm currently taking called Natural Calm, which is bloody expensive, but it's a very good form of magnesium in the form of citrate. If you want magnesium, you always take it in citrate form. If you want zinc, you got to take that in citrate form as well. And you don't take, you take your zinc tablets before bedtime, 15 or 30 milligram. That's what I did. But you take your magnesium breakfast, lunch and supper. Okay, because you don't want to take the zinc at the same time as the magnesium, because otherwise it'll affect the levels of either. Okay, so that's what you have to do with that. But this product, Natural Calm, it's effervescent, so you put like a teaspoon of that, or 2 teaspoons. Well, 1 teaspoon is about 100 or so grams. Shove that into a tall, American soda glass. Add about 1/3, fill it with hot water from the kettle. Let it fizz, stir it up until it's all completely dissolved. Then add cold water to the top and then just chug the lot back. Okay, that will direct the magnesium straight to the bloodstream more or less, and then you'll feel it in the body and you will feel refreshed and your mind will start to wake up. That's really important. But don't neglect the zinc, because the zinc is also important for lots of metabolic stuff as well. Also make sure you're not forgetting your a good quality B vitamin blend, covering as many of them as is humanly possible. I mean, one way that I decided to cheat was to take a multivitamin that's designed for an active life, and that's got a very high level of B vitamins in it, and B vitamins are your energy vitamins. And if you got Candida, you're lacking in energy, so you need that big time. And just keep up the fight. Make sure you're using your good healthy foods. If you can start learning how to do things like green smoothies and the rest of that will definitely help in your recovery, in my humble opinion. Remember, once again, I'll simply tell you, I'm not a friendly doctor. I'm not nothing, okay? I'm just a guy who happens to have studied nutrition and happens to have been through it all himself. Alright, and also you got to look after yourself emotionally, because you're going to be having disturbed sleep patterns because you're malnourished and you've got all this stuff going on. Your sleep patterns are going to be destroyed. So if you can get into, just as I learned very recently last January, using colored light. So you have blue light first thing in the morning, because that helps to switch off the hormone of sleep. White light during the day, and in the evening you move on to orange light or red light. And you also download the application F-Lux, which will make your computer monitor go sort of like slightly more sepia colored, so as to reduce blue light in the evening, and it'll be connected to the solar cycles in your local geographical location as well. And you can also get another one for your phone, which I think is called Twilight, and that'll make your screen go a reddish hue, so that'll again cut down on blue light. And if you can also get yourself yellow lens spectacles, that will help you big time as well. And you put those on about 3 hours before you want to go to bed, and that will cut down the quantity of blue light going into your eyes from any other sources that might be around in your home. It's just amazing how many things you got to do just to be able to function normally and socially if you got a history of Candida. It's a real bastard condition to have, and the vast majority of people won't understand it. They'll say you're lazy, you're malingering, you're not working hard enough. You got to find your own way, and you can't discuss this with normal people. Okay, just like when you're an alcoholic, you can only discuss the problem with people who have also had the problem, have got over it. Normal people don't understand chronic fatigue. Normal people don't understand the issues of Candida. Normal people don't understand nutritional deficiency. Normal people don't understand the kind of infections that you get if your immune system is lowered, and all the rest of that. And I could go on for ages about this. Right? Normal people are not your source of advice or information or comfort or security or nothing. Okay? You need to have a good doctor. If you're in the UK, then the Royal London Homeopathic Hospital is great, not because they deal in homeopathy, but because they actually understand how this disease works. And your standard Joe Public GP, I've been diagnosed with all kinds of stuff by the regular medical profession until it was discovered I had a Candida problem. The Candida problem got dealt with, and hey presto, all these other things went. Yeah, I've got issues against the regular medical profession to a certain extent, but they're still very useful, but they're not perfect. They're good for what they're good for. But when it comes to maintaining wellness and overcoming things like Candida and chronic fatigue, you're shit out of luck if you use those people. Experience dictates it. Okay? One of the reasons I wanted to study nutrition is use that as a jumping off point, so I could then study other things and actually help people out, use my knowledge, use my experience, and try and do people some good anyway. So I'm not going to go into dosing or anything like that today, because that's an issue for another time. And I really, I'm doing a general public service information announcement thing in this one particular recording. I'm not doing I'm the way, the truth, and the light. I am the way. Believe in me. Because that would be kind of pretty friggin' insane, to be honest. Either way, you got my opinions on the subjects. You look after yourself and get well. Get well soon.